This is the AeroActive Cooler X. Yes, they jumped from the AeroActive Cooler 7 all the way to X. Not sure if that's supposed to be a 10 or an X, but that's what we have right now. With this new cooler comes a lot of different changes. Some may say that it's for the worse, but some may say it's for the better. Most importantly though, is this new cooler worth your money? Let's talk about this in today's video. So, the AeroActive Cooler X is included with the ROG Phone 8 Pro Edition, as in this one. Remember, the ROG Phone 8 Pro Edition is the one with the fancy box, and that is the one with this cooler inside the box already. And the phone itself though is exactly the same as the ROG Phone 8 Pro, the non-edition version. I don't know why that's the name, but yeah, ask ROG about that. So this new cooler now has a sleeker design with 29% volume decrease and 10% weight reduction, but with a bigger surface contact area and also a larger fan. Personally, I don't care much about the size and whatnot, but I do want to highlight one thing. The phone's power button is somewhat difficult to press once the cooler has been installed. Let's answer the one big question first. Is this cooler necessary for the ROG Phone 8 series? Is the phone that hot that we actually need a cooler for it? Well, it kind of depends what we're doing. Let's take Genshin Impact for example. Even though I don't know what's the render resolution of this game, it can maintain 60 FPS consistently at the highest possible graphical settings as shown in our gaming test video. And yeah, both of these phones will perform the same. The phone did get warm to about 42 degrees Celsius at the surface, but it is still considered very safe and just barely warm to the touch. A cooler is not necessary in this case because you just don't need it. If we are going to run some more demanding tasks like the 3D Mark solar-based stress test, then this phone can actually reach 60 degrees Celsius and thermal throttle. It will be too hot to touch, and that is when the AeroActive Cooler X is needed. Actually, even with the cooler, the phone will still be very hot to the touch, so do be careful of that. And how much does this cooler actually help? Well, surprisingly quite a lot. Once the AeroActive Cooler X is attached, we can select up to 4 different cooling modes, which is the same as the previous generation. I used 3D Mark Solar Bay and did the test on both the ROG Phone 8 and the ROG Phone 8 Pro. Once the cooler has been attached to the phone, it will be using the Smart Cooling mode by default, and it'll just ramp up the cooling whenever it's needed. That already helped a lot in terms of the temperature. Once we change the cooling mode to cool or frosty, it doesn't differ that much from the Smart Cooling mode because Smart Cooling mode already dynamically changes between cool and frosty. What's interesting though is that when we connect a charger to the cooler itself, then we can enable something called the frozen mode. The temperature is going to drop a little bit more compared to smart mode, and the score consistency across the stress test is going to be better as well. Realistically speaking though, no one is going to buy the ROG Phone 8 series and this AeroActive Cooler X just to run benchmark all day. So for gaming, you are once again getting this cooler just for the sake of those 2 extra buttons at the back here. 2 extra shoulder buttons this time. Now, you might have realized that there are less buttons to press compared to the previous generations, and you're correct. ROG has removed the back pedals and now only 2 shoulder buttons are present. Honestly speaking, I ended up just not using the air triggers and just used those 2 buttons on the cooler. I just like physical buttons a lot more, and I'm not sure why ROG removed those 2 back pedal buttons. These 2 shoulder buttons is able to register my clicks no matter if I'm pressing it from the back, from the sides, or from the top. It just works. In terms of ergonomics, it has definitely improved. I don't have to place my grip weirdly on the phone just to get the back pedals and the shoulder buttons pressed, but it doesn't solve the issue of grip. You see, just because I'm pressing the shoulder buttons alone right now, it doesn't mean that the phone wouldn't slip out of my palm, because when my palm gets sweaty, the phone will just keep on sliding down whenever I press down on the shoulder buttons. I wish there is some sort of grip on my palm, maybe some sort of foldable mechanism that can be flipped out from the phone case when I need it. That would be great, right? Also, ROG has removed the subwoofer. Yes, one of the main highlights from last year's ROG Phone 7 with the AeroActive Cooler 7 was those pogo pins that activate the subwoofer when it is plugged into the phone. It's just gone now, and here's a sound comparison to let you know how it affects the sound quality. As a quick mention though, the speaker placement of the ROG Phone 8 has also changed, so it will sound even more different compared to the ROG Phone 7 series or older. The ports though remain the same as the previous generation. We still have an audio jack and also a USB Type-C port. However, just like before, the USB Type-C port will be degraded to be a charging port only. That means no display port over that USB Type-C port on the cooler when it is attached to the phone. That's quite a bummer since I thought it would be at least a pass-through of some kind so that I can still use this cooler while connected to an external screen so that, I can use it for Twitch, streaming or whatever through a capture card. Okay, is the new AeroActive Cooler X compatible with the older generations of ROG phone? The answer is very straightforward, absolutely not. And for a few reasons actually. First, because the ROG Phone 8 has a different dimension than before, the cooler just doesn't fit properly. Secondly, the phone now has a flat frame instead of a rounded one, so the cooler just wouldn't fit once more. And the older AeroActive Cooler 7 isn't compatible with the new ROG Phone 8 series for the same reasons as well. Just in case you're wondering, yeah, it's not compatible. Oh, one last thing. With the ROG Phone 8, they also collaborated with Devil Case once more, and now we have this new case, the Devil Case Guardian Gaming. The main highlight of this case is its compatibility with the AeroActive Cooler X because this back piece here is actually removable. It's not the easiest to remove, but we can do it. And once that's done, we can snap the cooler onto the phone without actually removing the phone case. And that one side of the phone will be entirely exposed. And this is a kind of a soft case, so I'm not sure how much protection it will provide when the phone is dropped on the ground. Another question I want to ask is, if you don't want to use the removable back cover on this Devil Case Guardian Gaming, then why buy this case to begin with? Because the bikini case that is included with the ROG Phone 8 Pro is already doing more or less the same thing, it's just with a different material. And as a reminder to you guys before we conclude, the AeroActive Cooler X is included in the box when you purchase the ROG Phone 8 Pro Edition. But you can still buy this cooler a la carte. Whether or not if it's worth the price, that's up to you to judge. If it helps you in your gaming experience thanks to those extra 2 shoulder buttons, then go for it. The cooling capabilities are good to have, but I don't think they're necessary unless you're constantly running synthetic benchmarks to push the phone to its highest potential. For the Devil Case Guardian Gaming though, I still don't have the price for this case, so maybe I'll just leave it down in the description below when I have it. And that's all that we have to share with you in today's video. If you're getting the ROG Phone 8, either the Pro Edition or the non-Pro version, are you gonna get this cooler? Do you think the removal of those 2 back pedal buttons is a mistake? Do let me know down in the comment section below, and remember to like and subscribe while you're on your way there. And we'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to do a review and comparison between these 2 phones, the ROG Phone 8 and the ROG Phone 8 Pro Edition. Technically it's just the Pro with the cooler included. Yeah, we'll see you there.